Good morning and welcome again to Summit. It's a brand new week and brand new edition on the program. Thanks for joining us again. I am Jumoke Michaels and Banji is right here. Banji, good morning.
Yeah, Jumoke, good morning.
Welcome to a new week too.
How is your health now?
Thank God.
You are back on your feet.
Oh yes.
I actually missed you last Wednesday
yeah.
when you were a bit under the weather. But
Yeah.
thank God
I'm okay
you
now.
are back at work.
Yeah.
Yes, a new week and Jumoke, there's a lot of expectation from Nigerians. The new administration has come in the last 2-3 weeks, and Nigerians expect them to start working. Expect the cabinets at the state level to be in place, expect the cabinet at the federal level to be in place, expect the inaugurated houses of assembly and even national assembly to get at work without any delay. I mean, the usual balance is that they must hit the ground running. But rather than hit the ground running, we are beginning to see the telltale signs of the last, what actually made it impossible for the different governments to deliver to the expectations of the people. After I seen it, controversies, power tussle, disagreements, and camps, even within the same party. So Jumoke, when are these crises going to be resolved? And then when is the real work of governance going to start?
The irony of it for me is that our leaders don't seem to be learning anything
From history.
Yes, from history. You know, do they not look back to understand that, okay, this thing happened before, and this was the result. It did not augur well for the people, for governance. So why repeat these things?
So you want to find out what is behind greed, Jumoke, let me tell you, greed and lack of patriotism, you may call it. So many factors really. Greed is at the forefront of the reasons for these controversies. Everybody wants to take for himself what belongs to everyone. Even what does not belong to them constitutionally, you want to grab it. This grab syndrome is permeating, is actually so much pervasive, so much so that nobody gives any recourse to constitution, legality, or the rule of law.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to do it the way he wants it.
Things are playing out as though we have no rule of law. There's no guideline to things we do part time, you know. Because if you look at this issue,
So
especially in Bauchi and Edo states, you know, what has played out in the election of the speakers.
Inauguration level, yes.
Yeah. You know, it's like what happened in the 8th National Assembly when they elected the Senate President and the House of Representative Speaker. So you see it playing out in Bauchi and Edo now. Now, did they not think that, okay, this thing has happened before, we should avoid?
So you want to ask, what are we actually bequeathing?
So what are they really doing?
Generations
Yes.
yet unborn.
Yes.
When they are reading through the history of the last 9 assemblies, what are the things that they will come across and say, oh, this has shown that our leaders or our forefathers have learned over time and our democracy has grown and there's so much we can also bequeath to other generations yet unborn. Jumoke, let's not do this discussion.
Everybody wants to outsmart the other person, and it's quite wrong. Well, that's what we are discussing on the program today, looking at the Edo and Bauchi Assembly crisis. And in the course of the discussion, we'll be opening the lines for you to call in and, share with us your view on this ongoing issue in Edo and Bauchi states. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue the discussion. So please don't go away. We'll be right back.
I need the police that can respond to emergencies first.
I want the equipment I need to do my job.
I want a police that won't harass or arrest me for no just reason.
I want to be valued for my work, not feared by honest people. I want a police that won't ask me anything for the boys.
I want a decent salary that is paid on time.
If it happen with good laws
Proper funding. Training.
And cooperation.
if it happen.
If it happens.
If it happen.
Thanks for still being there. Joining us for the discussion this morning, we have Mr. Ademola Adeboki, a communications expert and also a public affairs analyst. He's also a friend of the house. You're welcome.
Good morning,
Morning, you're
Jumoke
welcome.
and Banji, and good morning, viewers back at home.
You're
It's
welcome.
actually a pleasure to have you again.
Thank you.
All right, this morning we are looking at the Edo and Bauchi House of Assembly crisis that has already causing a lot of confusion or heating up the polity as it is now. What's your overall view, before we zero in on the issues, your overall view of this development?
Yeah, my take on this is that anyway, like you and Banji sort of brushed, the topic in your intro. A lot of issues are being thrown up by this development. One is the very sad angle of it that our politicians are proving to be very bad students of history. They are proving to be very bad students of history. That is one issue that is coming out of this. Another issue that is also coming out of this is that our country is still in search of true statesmen. Politicians we have in large number, but statesmen, we do not yet have, and if at all we have, their tribe is in the minority. And another issue that also comes out of this is the fact that, our politics is still largely self-driven and not people-driven. The political elite seems to be concerned about itself and itself alone. That is the political elite. It's concerned about itself and itself alone. So we need to. So these are issues that we need to bring up in this conversation. We need to really ask our politicians, why are they in power? Are they in power for themselves, or are they in power to serve the people? If to serve the people, things must be done the right way. And another issue that we still can also look at is that impunity still holds sway in our politics. People, the political leadership cannot even respect the laws that it was a party to in formulating, because some of these legislators, they are aware of this law, they are aware of the provisions of the Constitution about how certain things are to be done, system and procedure speaking. So all these issues we will need to interrogate in this conversation.
Okay, thank you. Maybe we should start by picking on the Edo first, then we move to Bauchi. In Edo State, we have 24 member assembly, and the honorables elect, or let me say the members elect, were all ready for the inauguration. Now, how did we get to the point where 9 actually was inaugurated? 15 was actually thrown out of the assembly. So much so that they are now more or less outcast now. How did we get to this point?
Yeah, and then they are all from the same party.
They are all from the same. They are all from the same party. But you see, if you have been following the trend in Edo politics, even before, even in their 8th assembly, you know that their house can veritably be described as Edo House of Crisis and not Edo House of Assembly. It has been one crisis even in the last assembly. And one had thought that that will have become a thing of the past in this in the 9th assembly. I don't want to say newly inaugurated one because I mean I'm at pains to believe that what actually took place in Edo was actual inauguration. One, you know, before now there has been this, you know, grapevine news, you know, about the feud between the former governor and the present governor. And the present governor is kind of fighting a battle of his life to position himself for re-election for his 2nd term. And the House of Assembly, the newly elected members of the House of the members elect of the House of Assembly, you know, are polarized along, you know, support for either Obaseki or Oshiomhole. The governor probably felt that for him to have a smooth sailing operation with the House, it is better for him to have his own man.
And it's his faction that is the 9 that.
It's his faction. It's his faction. Allegedly, even though you knew, as expected, you know, he will want to distance himself from what is happening, but we all know. So, and he made a proclamation before you inaugurate the House. There must be, you know, a proclamation from the governor stating the date, the time of the inauguration. While the people were waiting, while all the House members were waiting, you know, for the proclamation of the inauguration,
a letter from the governor.
From the governor, you know, the clerk of the House. It was first the process. The normal process is that the governor will issue a proclamation to the House, to the clerk of the House, who will make, you know, a public announcement that everybody will know about the date and time of, you know, inauguration. But in Edo State, the inauguration was said to have taken place at 9:30 in the, you know, in
PM.
You know, yeah, in non-legislative hours, so to speak, you know, or you know, and by 9:30 in the 9:30 p.m. And so you ask me, who does that? You understand? All because, you know, someone wants his own man or his own, you know, faction to be in charge of the House. It's an illegality, and like you have said, we will just ask ourselves the question: how did we get here? How did we get here?
All right, now if we look at this, issue of still at Edo State now. If we look at this issue, and you find out that I'm sure that during the election, they actually had new members elected into the House to join up with the ones that have been there. Now, do you see this as being a matter of not having, that I'm talking about the new ones now, not having their own mindset even before they are elected? Or why should they get so suddenly influenced? be able to be part of this drama? I'm picking this question from something you said before.
You know, you have to realize that even though they are newly elected, they won't be new. They won't be new in the party. You understand? They are not new in the party. You understand? Some of them may have been in the party, you know, for maybe even 8-10 years. You understand? Before now, and so they are new as elected members of the House, but they are not new as politicians, and they are not new as members of the party. And you and I know that Nigerian political parties always have these divides. You understand? Separate divides, factions and caucuses. You know, if I belong to this camp, I belong to this camp. So what we are seeing, you understand, is a carryover, you know, of the camps, caucuses, and factions that will have existed, you know, before election. And even the governor too, you know, that wants his own person there, you know, is quite aware of this. He's quite aware of the fact that these ones are not for me, these ones are for me. But like I've said, it all tells us about, you know, the nature and mindset of an average Nigerian politician. We do not yet have, you know, statesmen like this man, James Freeman, says politicians think of the next election, but statesmen think of the next generation. So we do not, Banji said, what legacy do we want to bequeath to the future generation? These are people that have sort of excused themselves from unknown norms of propriety and decency for me, because we know the right, we all know, even, you know, it's often said that even the man that is, you know, doing bad knows that what he's doing is bad. He's only waiting for someone to tell him that bold enough to tell him that what you are doing is bad. And I want to believe that there will be bold people in Edo State that will be able to tell the politicians or and probably even their governor that, Your Excellency, this that you are doing, you know, falls short of expectations. You know.
Okay, taking you up on that, sir. You just said the good people or an average right-thinking person from Edo should be able to tell the parties what they are doing rightly or what they are doing wrong. Yes, one of them has actually spoken, and you cannot dismiss the opinion of such a person. The immediate past chairman, APC, Odigi Oyegun, has actually come out to condemn the actions of the current chairman of APC, saying that he's the one behind all the crisis in the House of Assembly, and that his actions actually constitute a nuisance, so much so that it's distracting the governor from doing his job. What's your view about this?
You see, I don't know how impartial and umpire Oyegun can be in this matter. Don't forget that even before now, there has been this hot exchange of salvos, you know, between him and Oshiomhole.
And his successor. Incidentally, both of them are from the same state.
From the same state. Let's not forget that Oyegun was unseated by Oshiomhole, and it was not because he did not want to. He was
have
no
another
more
time.
but this man came
was
and then
forced
to quit, and this man took over. So he has not been happy with him, and there has been no love lost between the two of them. I know that I don't expect anything different, you know, from Oyegun. But that is not to say that what he is saying, you understand? Because sometimes even, you know, even when someone is saying something from a selfish end, if what he's saying is the truth, we cannot dismiss it with a wave of the hand. He has said that Oshiomhole is the root cause of all that is happening, in Edo State. Of course, but you won't blame Oshiomhole alone if you want to be fair in this. You understand? There are two camps. You understand? There are two camps in this. So you cannot single out Oshiomhole himself. I'm not saying that Oshiomhole does not have a hand in it. Yes, he does. But then the governor too. And I think for me, that's why, I said it already that our country is in their need of statesmen. By the positions he has held in this country, a former federal permanent secretary, a former governor of Edo State, a former chairman of the ruling party, Oyegun is eminently qualified to be seen as an elder statesman. But the issue is, how do statesmen behave? Statesmen don't take side on issues, of public interest like this. Statesmen, say the truth the way it should be spoken, without bothering whose ox is God. I don't know if Oyegun is playing that role in this instance. That is just so. There is an extent to which we want to, take what Oyegun has said as the gospel truth in this matter, because he is an interested party in the crisis.
All right, let's look at Bauchi now, before we open the line for people to contribute to the discussion. Now, from Bauchi was a different ball game. The scenario was a bit different.
Yeah.
There were two parallel elections.
Two parallel
in Bauchi,
elections.
yeah.
But still, it's similar too.
Yeah, but in Bauchi there's already a court ruling in favor of the 9. Yes.
In favor of the 11.
Of the 11. Of the 11.
State,
11. Leaving out the 21.
Yes.
Leaving out the 20.
Is it 20?
Is it 31?
Yeah. Okay, it's 31. Yeah,
Yeah.
31. So
Yeah.
we have 20.
Yes.
You see, the Bauchi scenario too. Also, it's very, it's close to that of Edo. The governor is of the PDP.
Bala Mohammed.
Yeah. And but the house is controlled
majority
APC. And the governor seems not to have any issue with an APC man becoming the speaker. Of course, because probably he also, maybe at least he's been reasonable enough to know that it would have been difficult for 10 PDP members, because the PDP has 10, and one party like that, maybe one NNPP, has one. So he knows that at least he was reasonable enough to know that it would have been difficult to make 11 people, or load it to have them load it over 20.
Couldn't he have done it if he had wanted? He was desperate to do it.
He would have done it. He would have done it. He actually could have done it.
Because if 9 could do it over 15, why wouldn't 10 do it over 21?
But what he has done is even akin to that. Because now, what he does not have, he doesn't have any issue with an APC man, becoming the speaker.
Well,
but no, he doesn't have any issue with that. But what he has issue with is, who is that APC speaker, the APC man that will become the speaker? Will he be my supporter? Will he be my loyalist? So, and good enough that there were 2 APC aspirants for the speaker. There were 2 APC contestants for the position of the speaker. One, Damina, I think. Damina.
The former.
Kukua Damina, So the former speaker, he was endorsed. Who happens to be the candidate backed by the leadership of the party. Then Sulaiman Abubakar, you understand, from Ningi constituency, was also eyeing the position, the seat. And probably the governor felt that he will be more comfortable, that is the governor now, working with Abubakar Sulaiman than with Damina. So he supported, you know, the of Abubakar. And in an unholy unparliamentary hour of 6 a.m., you know, in an unholy unparliamentary hour of 6 a.m., Abubakar Sulaiman was elected as the speaker by 10 others. Now, he and you know, 10 others. And they did not only do that, they also ensured that the mace was, you know, kept so far away from the from the reach of the 20 others, and also ensured that the House of Assembly was kept under lock and key, that they could not have access to the chamber. And so those ones too now felt that, okay, you may lock the house. Well, after all, we are still in Bauchi, we are still within Bauchi territory. Let's find a tree to sit down under and then elect our own speaker. And so that is what you have in Bauchi for now. But you see, all this charade only tells us, like I said, that we have people who only think about themselves. They are not ready. They are not concerned about, you know, the whole state can go to blazes. It doesn't concern them. All that concerns these are own politicians. Read my lips. Politicians, not politicians. You know, all that concerns them is what comes to is. I mean, they having things their way, and that is rather too bad. You know, for the progress of the state.
Okay, these illegalities have been on. We have spoken about it for as long as we can remember. And we have just celebrated 20 years of uninterrupted democracy in Nigeria. Now, if this illegality can still occur after celebrating 20 years of uninterrupted, then what have we learned? Then what's the role of the Constitution? If anybody could just aspire, and all it requires is aspiration, to emerge as speakers of House of Assembly, then what is the role of the Constitution? Are there ambiguities or any ambivalence on part of the actors to make this thing happen? And then another curious thing is that these illegalities can stay for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Because the court process is
slow.
Does that not actually shortchange the people from getting the best from this democracy that we run? Let me take the issues one after the other. From the question, let me identify 3 issues for discussion. 1, what lesson have we learned? 2, this illegality. I mean, what is the role of the Constitution in this? And 3, what do we do to ensure that this illegality does not last, you know, for too long? Let's take the role of the Constitution first, before we go to other ones. The role of the Constitution, you see, the framers, you know, where people have shouted themselves hoarse about the inadequacies and imperfection of the present Constitution, bequeathed to us by the military. Even though that Constitution was prefaced with the statement, "We, the people of Nigeria." You and I know that that Constitution was, you know, largely military crafted, and a Constitution that did not emanate from the people. You know, we shouldn't be surprised that we're having this, you know, much confusion about it. Our politicians are cashing in on so many of the imperfections in the Constitution, which may be, to be fair to the framers, to the framers of the Constitution, they never thought that anybody would, you know, be cashing in on
those inadequacies. If you look at section 92 of the Constitution, which talks about, the quorum for the, because if I want to go back to the Edo issue now, and even Bauchi, you know that normally before the House sits, it has to have a quorum. There must be a quorum, that is the required number of members that must be present for the House to have been considered duly constituted. Otherwise, whatever the members that will not form, whose number falls below the required number to form a quorum, whatever those members do, is tantamount to, a nullity, and it does not have existence in the eye of the law. But what does the Constitution say? The Constitution says that, the quorum for the House of Assembly shall be 1/3 of the members of that House. 1/3 of the members of that House. And now, these people, they are now claiming, some are of the opinion that no, okay, the Constitution is talking about members that have been inaugurated. That since those other 15 or 19 in Edo did not present themselves for inauguration, 15. Since they did not present themselves for inauguration, they cannot be regarded as members. So you see, the loophole that they want to. But at the end of the day, we all know that this will end in the court of law. And that now takes us to the role that the judiciary is playing, in the development of our democracy. People like to say nascent. Nascent, is another word for young.
Sorry, just a minute.
Okay.
Would like you to call in, and the number to call is, it's already there on the screen. It's 0705 929 1146 is the number to call to just be a part of the conversation this morning. All right.
Yeah. So talking about the role, and that now takes us to the second question. You asked the question that to all intents and purposes, this illegality can continue for the next 3 years because of the slow pace of our judicial system. And so the question is, the role, the issue that arises from that is the role that our judiciary is playing in the development of our democracy. The judiciary needs to decide not to make itself a willing tool in the hands of our politicians. The judiciary must come to terms with that reality.
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay.
We seem to have lost the caller.
Please go on, sir.
Okay. So the judiciary has to, like I said.
Okay. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from? What's your name and where are you calling from? Sorry, I can't hear you. From Onisha.
From Onisha.
All right. All right, good morning. Please go on with your contribution. Yes, please go on.
So that our people are yet not experienced the person that knows that know that is wrong. Therefore, if Ojebo could not say the truth, he's not supposed to do an statement as a military man. Because somebody told us in those groups that they are from prosperity. But that is what we have now. We have feel that not that we will come to the agreement for the federal court, the federal federal. But also the test to do an issue. I want the man to react to it. That issue that somebody has formed is what is saying now. We need to look at. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Okay, sister.
Are you really an Edo man?
I'm in Nigeria.
Yeah, you're Nigerian.
I'm in Nigeria.
So he wants you to react to.
I didn't hear the question. His question very well.
No, he's saying that talking about Oyegu as being a statesman, that he's saying he thinks that you are a bit not balanced in your summation. That's why he said maybe you are from.
No, you know, initially I said Oyegun accused the current chairman of APC, Oshiomhole, of being biased or even distracting the incumbent of that Obaseki. Now you dismissed it that you said the statement could not actually be said to be.
I didn't totally dismiss it. I said it may have some element of truth that, I said it that yes, this crisis is, actually has Oshiomhole's hand. I said that much. But I said that the thing is that how, impartial Oyegu has been is a question that we need to ask. And I still say it, you understand that how, there are two parties in this matter. We have Oshiomhole on one side, and we have Obaseki on the other side. And the fact is that, you see, why this crisis lasts, what suffers is governance in the state. What suffers is governance in the state. And that is why whoever that wants to mediate in this crisis, you understand, cannot be an interested party. You understand, like Oyegu. And I maintain that if Oyegu has an axe to grind with Oshiomhole. So whatever he's saying will be looked at from that angle, that he is not being, impartial. He's not being objective. So we need for him to be seen as an impartial judge in this matter. He has to throw aside his differences with Oshiomhole. I don't know how well he'll be able to do this. He has to throw that aside and then, be as impartial as possible.
Let's take another call. Hello, good morning. All right. Where are you calling from?
From Ayoko.
From Ayoko. All right, please, let's have your contribution to the discussion.
You see, what I can see in this matter is that democracy in Nigeria is in shambles. It is not shambles because we have the issue of security, bandits, all the rest of the power battling in Nigeria. And our politicians are not trying to solve any problem. Even the economy is in shambles. They cannot solve it body and being interested in themselves there. I think it's necessary to clear them with guns and let them quit.
That's not the kind of revolution we're actually seeking in Nigeria.
All right, thank you.
We want non-violent revolution. Not violent revolutions.
We should not be promoting
that option is certainly not
we should not be
workable.
promoting that. And let me also tell, so it was Chief Obafemi Awolowo that said that the worst, civilian rule is better than the best, military rule. You understand? Because what can you do without freedom? What can you do when your freedom is well restricted? And that is what that we can come here now and talk is because of democracy that we enjoy. There was once a government in this land that you dare not come out to say anything against it. You will do that you know,
At your own peril.
at your own peril. And so that we still can talk. So let us continue to do the talking that we can do to these people, and let us continue to enlighten our people. Because when you talk of the impunity that these people, you know, perpetrate, you discover that, you know, it is largely supported and fueled by even the masses, who will say that, well, who urge them on, you know, most times. So let us continue to do this. We should not. I can understand the frustration of the man that just spoke.
Okay,
but
now,
then
sir,
let
because
us
of time,
encourage some, you know, him that he should not lose faith.
Okay, what's going to be because of time? What's going to be the fate of the 20 members elect in Bauchi State House of Assembly and 15 members elect in Edo State while this crisis continues? Do you think it can be resolved as soon as yesterday?
There are two ways to resolve it. You know, the legal way, and then do I call it the political approach, which you have rightly called dialogue. If a compromise can be reached, you know, it will just be best that people go, and by now, and that is why I'm saying it, that we need true statesmen who can be seen as very, very impartial, unbiased. Because for like the other man that was asking me to talk, if Oyegun is supposed to be a statesman in that state, but I know that he does not, you know, possess the moral fiber now to say he wants to call the two parties together. So I think the time has come for all true, you know, statesmen in those two states and probably even beyond to say, please come off it, guys. I mean, we need to move forward. This cannot continue. I think that, so if we do that, the issue will be amicably resolved. But in the absence of that, we will still have to make a recourse to the court that will interpret, you know, the true position of things for us. The only thing that is, you know, so regrettable about it is that it's the slow pace. You understand? Because, like you rightly said, this old chariot can continue for the next 3 years. And if that happens, who is losing? I ask the question. The people.
Thank you very much. But I know that at the center of the crisis in Edo, as you have rightly stated in your analysis, it's all about the next election.
It's all about the next election.
So how the current crisis resolved would also go a long way to determine who actually is in control of that state. And same for Bauchi, the new man at the helm of affairs is PDP, and he wants his foot firmly on ground, and he needs the support of the House of Assembly. So you can, in both cases, there are fundamental issues. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. We cannot actually exhaust this. It will certainly continue subsequent editions of the program. Thank you so much. My name is Bandibu Sari. See you again on Wednesday.
And I'm Jumoke Michaels. See you again. Bye-bye.
I need the police that can respond to emergencies first.
I want the equipment I need to do my job.
I want a police that won't harass or arrest me for no just reason.
I want to be valued for my work, not feared by honest people.
I want a police that won't ask me anything for the boys.
I want a decent salary that is paid on time.
If it happen with good laws
Proper funding.
Training.
And cooperation.
if it happen.
If it happens.
If it happens.
Are you an entrepreneur? Do you have an existing business or great business idea? Then Africa's Young Entrepreneurs Empowerment Nigeria, ION, is a program for you, where thousands of business owners and entrepreneurs will be empowered with business funding, mentorship, specialized skills training, and equipment. To register for the ION 2019 program, visit www.ion.ng. Fill in your personal and business details, check your email frequently, and follow us on all our social media platforms for regular updates. For more information, visit www.ayen.ng or call 070-00444444. ION 2019, showcasing and empowering Nigerian entrepreneurs.